a large intersection and everything. They started work on 2nd Street and the rains hit them Tuesday morning. So we'll get on that just as soon as we can. And that's just a quick nutshell on that. Try to keep that stuff going.
Any questions for Mr. Carter?
No, I appreciate the email ahead of time.
Real quick, your fire and code enforcement reports will start getting them the second meeting. It gives us the end of the month to clear them out. I want to give them to you all in one package rather than fire marshal report, fire department report, and code enforcement. Trying to coordinate that. One other thing I'm going to be sending in your packet to give you time to read it. Code enforcement officer went to a flood insurance or flood management course. Going to be a lot of changes come down in 2014 that can affect a lot of people in their flood insurance rates within the city. My suggestion is that we need to look at it and probably officially contact our senator or representative on the federal level and voice our displeasure because rates are going to increase. It's not, and I just don't want the citizens of Kennett to think that it's the code enforcement officer or the code enforcement office doing something, even though they're mandated by the feds to issue the elevation certificates and require that the elevation be a certain height on properties that are in the floodplain. It's all coming down from the federal government through the FEMA, so more to come. When you get it, just don't pass it off. Look at it, make notes so that we can discuss it.
All right. Chief Hay?
I think I've said enough.
All righty. Old business, ordinance amending procurement policy.
And this is an ordinance we discussed last meeting. We had changed the procurement policy at one time or recently, and it created some conflict in what we had. So what I did was prepare a new ordinance which should clean up any conflicts. And basically what it calls for is that any purchase over $5,000 will require competitive bids. Below between $1,000 and $5,000 will require telephone or written quotations from at least 3 firms. On approval of purchases, the department heads can approve anything up to $3,000, between $3,000 and $5,000 can be approved by the department head or purchasing agent, which is usually the department head, with written approval of the mayor. Anything over $5,000 approved by the council. And the first reading is an ordinance amending section 140.110 of the municipal code of the city of Kennett to provide for increased threshold requirements in the competitive bidding process and to provide for approval of purchase of less than $5,000.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None opposed. Motion passes. Second reading.
An ordinance amending section 140.110 of the municipal code of the city of Kennett to provide for increased threshold requirements in the competitive bidding process and to provide for approval of purchase of less than $5,000.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion. It's gonna be a roll call vote.
Sokoloff?
Yes.
Hancock?
Yes.
McDowell?
Yes.
Weatherwax?
Yes.
Gore?
Yes.
Wheeler?
Yes.
Palmer?
Yes.
McMahon?
Yes.
That motion passes. Ordinance is in effect. Into new business, item A, approval to purchase tasers for the police department.
What we're proposing to do, and I visited with Terry on how's the best way to do this. What we look at it, use it as the money that was donated to the Kennett Police Foundation to purchase these tasers for the police department, so each officer will have their personal taser. The city council and the mayor, the mayor, the city council, and the police chief are the board of directors of the police foundation. And so asking the police foundation to approve expenditure of those funds to purchase the tasers. Police foundation would then purchase the tasers and present those to the police department.
Is there a motion to,
Motion.
well, what's the amount and,
The amount,
we need amount of what we're,
oh, okay, it's, for the 16 tasers and the required holsters, it's, plus the shipping is $13,967.15. And the donations made were, just a little bit under $14,000, so the donations made will cover that.
motion for that amount? Second, discussion,
So it's not city funds.
now city funds, you're a board director
So
right
we
now.
still need to make, we still have to approve
Yes.
it.
It's money donated to the foundation purchases on behalf of the city, basically what.
And he said it better than I did.
So you get your board director of Kennett Police Foundation hat on right now.
Okay.
And everything's gone well with the donations and everything.
That's what I was gonna get with here. We got the motion on the floor, any more discussion?
Motion, second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, while we're still on the subject of this board of directors,
Thank you.
can you give us a brief report about the
Yes, yes.
Farmers.
I contacted each of the individuals the names that were supplied by the mayor and additional individuals that made donations. And all of those individuals felt good. They didn't feel like there was any
So nothing behind it?
no problems with the way the solicitation was made, and everybody felt comfortable to it. As a matter of fact, some folks contacted me the next day after the council meeting, and so I just wanted you to know that I was very, very comfortable with the way the solicitation was made, and there wasn't a problem.
Well, that's great, that's what we wanted to hear, clear the air of this.
That's
where-
exactly.
So,
Did you find out where this came from? Where it started?
I just
I mean, I
contacted,
don't want no names, but I just wondered if you.
I'm the one that got the calls. That's why I
I know,
brought it up.
yeah.
what I can tell you is that one individual, I did contact that individual, and there was simply clarification needed. And prior to me leaving that meeting with that individual made a donation to the foundation.
So it was good that
Yes,
everybody got this cleared up.
yes.
Okay, so, everybody happy now?
For your family, thank you very much.
Okey dokey, thank you. That's not what pig, okey dokey. Okay, item B, authorization for mayor to sign consulting agreement with Aviation for airport project. This is an engineer firm that the
Yes, sir. Yeah.
airport board approved, that
We just need approval of the city council for authorization from the council for you to sign.
is there a motion for the city to enter in this contract, which is the airport board entering the contract for engineering firm? I just got this pack right here.
This
Oh,
motion.
for what?
That's the information I got attached, please find 2 copies.
For engineering services at the airport.
What are they gonna do at the airport?
Just they have to have a contract.
AWAS,
Yeah.
the approach,
Okay.
I don't fly, it's the approach mechanism for them to land, I think.
Yeah.
Motion, second.
Motion.
I think somebody else.
Okay, I didn't hear the first motion.
I'll second it.
I think somebody made a motion, second.
This is the airport board, they also have the due diligence to go through this and make sure that this is the appropriate engineering firm for their needs. Okay, discussion, all in favor say aye. All opposed? The motion passes.
You will be the one to go to jail. but-
Yes, sir, I will be the one to go to jail.
He's saying.
I'm signing right now. Hopefully I'm not signing in my house or something that's paying for this, but who knows? Okay, move on into discussion of old PD building. Building committee, Mr. Hancock, or anyone with the building committee want to discuss the, the police, the old PD building? Sorry, I was signing and trying to do two things at once. We had a meeting, okay, well, we've had a meeting, to discuss the housing of the PD and to discuss the resolution of the old PD building. We have been approached, and I would ask that, I would ask you to all come up and introduce yourself and but we have been approached by the Kennett Nutritional Center to form some sort of agreement with the city to acquire the building or to take possession of the building for them to house their center. Would you care to pick up where I left off?
Yes, I'm Sharon Montgomery, the administrator of the Kennett Senior Center, and thank you for all of you for letting me come tonight. We had a meeting the other night, and we did discuss the old police department, and we've noticed that it was sitting down there, but we had a meeting in our center a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and we asked the mayor to please come and just be on it to help us see if we could come up with a solution on what we could do, because our center was running, we're expanding so large that we need more space. Now, I know that I'm gonna pass these out for you. The center, the police department is not that much larger, but it is 333 square feet larger than what we have now, which means a lot to us. That means that we could actually put another, does anyone else want these? I passed some of them out the other night. Okay. There have been a couple changes on here. There have been a couple changes in here. After we left the meeting the other night, my husband and I went back down to the center, and we actually measured what we use in the center, and we are actually only using 4,175 square feet of the building. There's more common areas that's there, but it's like a hallway and areas when you first come in the building. We've been in Kennett for 40 years. I don't know if most of you know that or not, but we are very established. We want to continue growing. We are not only the largest center in our program of 33 centers, we are the largest center in the state. And I say that proudly because that's taken a lot of work. We have volunteers, like Alice here, that works every day. She comes in and she doesn't get any pay for working, but she's there every day to support the community. It's for seniors, it's for disabled, it's for anyone that can come in and just be there. You know, and we need space. We need a heating and cooling area. Right now, we're using the Housing Authority building, and it's wonderful, but we only have that building until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. After 2 o'clock, if we want to use the building, we rent it again. If we want to have a party on Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve, we rent the building again. Everything is rented. We really need, in order to expand the services that we have for our seniors, we need our own building. And I would really love for you all to consider it, letting us have it, and, any questions?
Would you assume, the rest of it was in its current condition?
Yes, we have been down there. One of the officers took us through, showed it to us. We know that there is a mold issue. We're very aware of that. We would have to go in and have someone, come in and clean it. We're aware of that. We would have to gut the inside out to make it what we would need and be able to put a kitchen in it. And, but it would be mainly open. It would be very few doors and, you know, rooms. It would just be open, because that's what we need.
You have the fiscal ability to do these things, though.
You mean financial?
Financial.
Okay.
Fiscal.
Not right now, but we would have fundraisers. We would actually bring the whole community together, hopefully, and having fundraisers. I haven't approached anyone yet because I didn't want to jump the gun. You know, I wanted to bring it before the council first. And our agency, Area Agency on Aging, we have money for stove, refrigerators, things like that, which runs into a lot of money. But we don't have money for the building itself, you know, to refurbish the building or whatever we need. But we would see that we could do that. For one thing, we could apply for grants. There's no reason why we couldn't get a grant. The city of Malden was given a grant for $1 million. If Malden can do it, why can't we do it? We're almost twice as big as Malden as far as our number.
Have we determined, seen figures that it would take to redo that?
Yes, sir. Mr. Weatherwax, do you?
It's $10,000 to tear it down without asbestos, $12,000 to tear it down with asbestos, $100,000 to clean it without asbestos. Nobody wants to clean it with asbestos. It's good we never had it tested, actual on paper showing that it does have asbestos, but there's a bit of a change for the guys.
What the committee discussed is the fact that since we have purchased a building, ACS building, that they didn't, and correct me if I'm wrong, committee, but they felt it was unwise to use taxpayer money and spend $100,000. And then you turn around 3 years later, you move it into a new building. So that's what they came to the conclusion with.
Okay, my question would be, would we fall under those same guidelines? Would we have to, or could we get someone to come in and clean it? Would it have to be?
Yeah, if you have a building, it'd be up to you to clean it.
If you accept the building, that would be, you know, I asked you that night, you understand that you're gonna accept the building as is with the, whatever issues are with the building, if that's.
I mean, if the inside is gutted, and I don't think there's so much to clean up.
We're a city government. If someone else decided, if I bought it, the building, it costs a lot less for me to clean it up.
Okay, since we're not a government agency, it probably wouldn't cost as much as it would. Is that what you're saying?
You basically do not fall under prevailing wage, which the city does.
Okay.
You're not a government agency, how do they basically?
We are federally and state partially funded, but we don't follow, or we are not under state guidelines. We are Area Agency on Aging,
Not for profit.
not for profit.
You don't think anyone would come in and have an issue with you moving into a building that the police department had to move out of because of the conditions, and you're bringing seniors in there and?
I don't think that there would be an issue because it would totally be cleaned and also totally be gutted out. The only thing that would be standing when we get finished gutting it would be the exterior walls and floors, you know. Everything else would be taken out. Now the air units, we're gonna have those cleaned, and I think that there was an issue maybe with that, with those, that would be cleaned. And everything would be cleaned, everything would pass inspections before a senior would ever walk in.
So really, the council has two questions. One, the question of the building itself. Two, if council does not want to move back into that building or wants to get rid of it, do we pass it to the Kennett Nutrition Center?
Well,
These questions won't be answered tonight. You know, we can't, this has just been presented to the council, so we'll come back next meeting and, make a decision if you all choose to do that.
Rather than us tear the building down and make a parking lot out of it, I would much rather see them end up with a building for that use. Plus, you think of, the possibility of getting more downtown traffic from them being there during the day. Might be a benefit to some of the downtown businesses. So,
Do you think the community's gonna understand us giving that building away?
well, I think they would understand it better than would we just tear it down.
Or stick hundreds of thousands of dollars in it.
Yeah, I just can't see spending all that money to fix it up when you just bought a building.
Now, these figures just, I guess, Lisa, this is figures that you've got, the paper, right? You have all these numbers. So, I mean, this is just released out. Basically, we found this out a week ago or a couple weeks ago. We're getting everything out to the public, so everyone is aware of it. We don't wanna hide anything, we're not trying to hide anything.
We want a place for all seniors and disabled, whoever wants to come in, to be able to come in and have a welcoming area to come into, to eat their lunch. We serve a lot of lunches there, and, you know, several of you have actually been down, and I know you've been there. So, and I'd like to welcome any of you, if you wanna come down and see where we're at now and see what we're all about. Come down, and I would like to answer any questions or whatever.
It'd be like a true community center, or a senior citizen community center.
Absolutely.
Go up there and hang out or
Absolutely.
entertain themselves.
And we'll
I think it'd be a great
One
addition.
one block from the square.
Across the street from the pool,
I think that'd just be a plus for us.
I see
next
no-
door to
I see no
Cosby's,
negative.
so short trip.
I would concur with what Doc said. I think this is a win-win type situation. We get rid of a property that we kicked it back and forth for months, and we really come up with a feasible plan to utilize it. It makes a lot of sense to have it for the seniors. We've done something positive for the community. I would totally be in support of it. Let me just interject one thing. If the council does elect to do this, there's a couple of issues that we need to deal with right up front. First of all, we still have our evidence in that building, our radio equipment and those kinds of things. We're gonna need to maintain that easement out back where the current radio tower is, because that will be there.
Yes.
And so we need to be able to, that be a part of the agreement.
We discussed it with, we discussed it during the committee. And also, this is not anything that's gonna take place in the near future, more likely. They're gonna raise money and get the building to where they financially can afford it, so it's gonna be a,
That's fine, I just need, we still have things in the building that we would need to get out of there before we would be able to allow people to
Yes,
have access to it.
yes, definitely.
That would be no problem. Our first goal would be to raise some money to be able to go in and work on it.
So, let's do this. Let's come back 2 weeks from tonight. I ask that you all come back, or at least whoever you come back. And then, we'll have, everyone have 2 weeks to sleep on it, and we'll come back and make a decision.
Please, during the 2 weeks, come down and see us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, that's all new business. Next item is approval of city's abstract accounts payable for the month of June and July. I would take a motion at any time.
So moved. Second.
Discussion, changes, questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Approval of CLGW's accounts payable for the June and July months.
Motion.
Motion. We have a second.
Second.
We have a second. Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion passes. Miscellaneous. Do we have anything for miscellaneous? Says not any. Can we entertain a motion to close the meeting? Motion and a second. No. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Meeting will now be closed. We appreciate you all's attendance.